Namaste Gurudev.
Yes.
Mr. Saroj Bardeva from America has asked you what kind of ahar vihar, means food and lifestyle, will be conducive for meditation and its growth.
Well, it is understandable that our existence is from food. Not only our physical existence, but our mental, vital, intellectual, and above all, our spiritual existence, all connected to food. And the Vedas say that there are only two things in this universe. One is food and the other is eater. Food and eater. Everything is food, everything is eater. We eat from the earth and finally we are eaten by the earth. So the earth is food for us and finally we become food for the earth. That way the whole cyclic system, ecosystem is moving with this food and eater. And the final eater is the cosmic consciousness, which consumes everything. It is not the eater of anybody. It is not the food of anybody. We cannot call it food. Why? Because if you realize Brahman, that means you have eaten Brahman. And in that case, that is different because you become identified with him. Like a river eats the ocean. That means it becomes identified with the ocean. So that way Brahma consumes everything. So it's the final eater. But taking it from a very relative point of view, every day we have to eat food. Without eating we don't get energy, we can't work. But it has a level. Everything is food. You see, Hindus, they have a lot of discrimination in food. They have a lot of discrimination. I think in the world, probably the Hindus, they make the most discrimination from food. But rest of the world, in some countries, they eat almost everything. So, food generally people take for health and strength, so that they can do necessary activities. They can perform their duties. But in Hindu religion, they say it's not just strength, physical strength, because physical strength, if you take it strength, it has different levels also. It can be mental strength, it can be spiritual power, it can be muscular power, it can be nervous power. So the power is distributed like the electricity is distributed in many, many ways. So the one source of energy, it is distributed in us in many ways. Now, if you are an intellectual person, your work is mainly thinking, writing, making speech, reading books, handling intellectual aspects. In that case, your food system must be different. Your nature will not take that kind of food which are difficult to digest, which takes a lot of working, a lot of exercises to get it assimilated. Such kind of food would not be liked by you. Naturally, you will like light food, easy food, which is easy, not heavy to your stomach, so that your brain can think. And if you are spiritual, you have to have still finer food. You have to have still finer food, even finer than intellectuals. So category of food, what kind of food helps you to keep your mind tranquil, because from food and mind, they are so connected. If you take some stimulants, immediately it works on the mind. You can see that. You take one glass of wine and your mind automatically reacts in a different way. Take some drug, automatically reacts in a different way. So anything goes in the stomach, it works on the mind. Anything, whatever, even water. If you drink water, immediately you find a change in you. Sometimes you feel a little bit dry, uneasiness, and when you drink water, you immediately feel fresh, even mentally. So the body and mind goes parallel. This is life. What is life? The parallelism between body and mind. If you can maintain the parallelism well, you are living well. If the parallelism is disturbed from external point of view or from internal point of view, disturbance comes. Something shocking to your mind makes your energy down and you feel sickly. Something hurt you from outside, some infection from outside makes your mind dull. You want to take rest, you cannot work. So they are so much connected, and life, virtually speaking, is only maintaining healthy body and healthy mind so that each other can depend on each other nicely. And this is knowledge. This is knowledge. This is the knowledge of life. That how can you lead life physically fit and mentally concentrated and upright disposition. So food is so important, and the food cannot be just taken as that whatever you eat and digest and you have some energy. No. If your mental level is changed, if your mental level, like in the Vedas they say, the mind has 5 levels. One is called physical level, kamamaya kosha, physical level, annamaya and kamamaya. Anna, it all depend on food and desire, physical desire, carnal desire. And then you have the vital level, emotional level. And then you have the mental level, which is thinking level. Then you have the Big-Gan level. Big-Gan means special mind, special introspection, contemplative, meditative. And then you have the Hiranmaya course, this effulgent part of the mind, the light, beyond all the 3 attributes. So say Hiranmaya Parikoshi Birajang Brahmanish Kalam Tat Subram Jyotishang Jyotista Jadatma Vidu Vidu. Hiranmaya Parikoshi, in the supreme golden sheath, golden level, the luminous level, the Brahma is existing. And the one who knows his light, he really knows what it is. So, food should be regulated. And there is a story that Charak is the most veteran, ancient Ayurvedic doctor, Ayurvedic sage. He is a person who made a lot of research on vegetation and Ayurveda, herbs, and so on and so forth. So the story goes, in order to teach people, the story goes that he was seated under a tree contemplating in his ashram, and a bird suddenly cooed, and the cood came to his ears like this: Kah Aruk, Kah Aruk, who is free from disease, who is diseaseless. Kah Aruk, Kah means who, Aruk, free from disease. So he felt, and he replied, Hitobhuk, the one who takes nourishing food, lasting, which lasts in the body for a long time, nourishing food, Hitabhuk. Then the bird again said, Kah Aruk. Then he replied, Mitabhuk. Then the bird flew away. Mitabhuk means limited quantity. Limited quantity. A lot of people eat a lot of food. They believe that as much food you eat, you live better. But for contemplation, for meditation, for yoga, you need to have limited kind of food. They say that half the appetite should be filled with solid and 1/4 should be filled with some liquid, any drink, good beverage, including milk maybe, and 1/4 should always be left empty so that the air may work, because without the function of the air, the food is not properly digested. Disturbance. Only food cannot digest itself. You need air and liquid. So that way, the food should be limited and pure. What is purity? And we look at Ramanujam of 12th century. He says it very nicely. He says that food are contaminated in 3 ways. In 3 ways, food becomes non-spiritual. Food becomes non-spiritual in 3 ways. The first way, he says, Jati Dushta, the kind of food which are contaminated by itself, by its nature, like beef, pork, mutton, and so on and so forth. Drink, strong drink, all these are cannot be purified. You cannot filter them, or you cannot purify them. Huh? Like putting little ghee or these, that, no, nothing. You cannot purify them. They are contaminated and you must reject them at any rate if you want to be spiritual. This first thing. Secondly, he says, nimitta dushta, the medium. Like somebody, a bad nature, a man who is not very good, very restless, maybe perverted man, and he is cooking food for you, and the vibration contaminates the food. The vibration of the person contaminates your food, and your feeling also is contaminated. And the place you are eating food, it should be beautiful, it should be nice, with flowers, with good smell, and these, so, and clean place. If you are eating food and then dirt things around dirt, then that becomes not give good feeling, and the food is contaminated. Then again, what kind of person you are eating with is important. They say that the person you are eating with or the person you are walking with influences you, influences your mind. So if you are eating with a person who is very material, all the time talking material things, maybe his food is also not good, but you are eating, that definitely it will affect on you. Or you are walking with a person and you do not like him, but still you are walking, you do not like his words, but still you are listening to that, that will affect on your mind. So that way, nimitta dushta, the medium, it should be clean place, and the person who cooks should be gentle person, so these are the things. And the food, of course, should be minus all the non-spiritual kind of food. That what is too material, it makes you stimulated materially, or makes you lazy, makes you sleepy, makes you heavy, your thinking becomes dull. So that. And third one, he says, asraya dushta. Asraya dushta means the source of income. Maybe food is very good, pure, and the cook is even maybe he is a holy man. But if the source of the food is not right, like Buddha says, shammak ajibaka, right income must be there. It is one of his 8 principles. The right income should be there. If the food earned from evil means, foul means, that food is not going to do good to you. You yourself will feel not proper. So these 3 things. Then Shankara says very nicely, Acharya Shankar, 8th century AD, most renowned Hindu saint, Shankara, a miraculous personality. In such a small, short period of time, 16 and 32 years of time, he has made gigantic activities. And he says the food is contaminated, not just food, everything that we hear, everything that we see, the talk that we talk, the thoughts that we think, the things that we touch, or the things that we smell, all our sense organs, whatever we receive is food to us. Food means ahara in Sanskrit. Ahara. Ah means completely, thoroughly. Hara means taking. The thing that you take in completely, assimilate completely, is your food. It may be a thought, it may be air, it may be sun, it may be a beautiful scenery, it may be a good smell. Anything that delights you, makes your soul purified, nourish your soul, is food. So you must be careful about that. If something very bad things going on, wrong things going on, don't watch it. Like I heard that nowadays, even in America or Europe, they are trying to screen films which are vulgar, sexual film, and quarrel, fight, violent and sex. They want to filter because all the children are very much interested in that. Violence, because it is the lower instinct, fighting from species, from generations. They have been liking fighting and sex. So these two are liked by immature mind. They like to. Of course, sometimes fighting I myself like, if it is a genuine fight, if not it's a fake fight, anyhow, heroism. So you must watch beautiful things, beautiful scenery, beautiful paintings, beautiful persons you talk out, beautiful views, and then hear lovely things, not irritating things. That way, all the senses. So Vivekananda says that we must make an amalgam between Ramanujam and Shankara. Ramanujam speaks particularly about food, purification of food, and Shankara says along with the food there should be purification of the sense objects. Senses should be purified. Right things should be thought. You must purify your thoughts. You must be always alert, and you must know how to discriminate thoughts. There should not be jumbles of thought, hazy. You should not be hazy. Your thoughts shouldn't be hazy, mess. But you should be clean thoughts, clear thoughts, because thoughts are the beginning of spirituality. So lifestyle is connected with that. Lifestyle is connected with that because all day long you have to talk with somebody, you have to see something, you have to hear something, you have to think something, you have to do something. That is lifestyle, right from morning to night. And that should be pure. How do you know it is pure? Because by your feeling. It's from your feeling. Feelings are the highest measurement. Feeling is the highest measurement. If you feel dull, sleepy, uneasy, mind is not working, mind is very slow, you know that your lifestyle, your behavior, your food is not right. If you find you are very restless, you want to do something, you want to do that, you want to talk to people, you want to go there and here, or even passion, you have a lot of passion, Passion doesn't need always object. Without object also you have passion, a lot of passion. Then you know that your lifestyle is raja, restless kind, it's not very spiritual. And if you find yourself tranquil, happy, full of light, full of thoughts, full of inspiration, full of vibration, you know that your lifestyle is right. Your mind will tell it specifically that you have such thing that you have talked is not conducive. Such food that you have eaten is not conducive. Such film that you have watched is not conducive to you. So you know better what is helpful if you have specifically make your goal spiritual. In that case only it is possible. You have no goal, you think only of money, and you think that money opens every avenue. Such a wrong philosophy if you have trained yourself up, then these things would not be possible for you. From the very beginning you have to make it a point that I have to be spiritual. I must within this lifetime have complete spiritual experience, enlightenment, and every day I must experience spirituality. In that case your mind will be subtle. They say the mind has levels, the beginners, when you have urge for spirituality, that is the beginning, and then the urge is stronger, then the mind becomes subtle, and still stronger, then mind, the thinking power becomes developed, and still stronger, then you are swayed by the joy of spirituality, meditation begins. That way different 7 levels are there. So if you make it a point in your life, make the goal that above everything, money is needed, love is needed, action is needed, all these are needed, but over and above, my goal is to realize the Supreme. So all these things should be channelized towards that. Now you see, this is important for life and lifestyle and food. So food is not all for nourishment. Food is also for making your mind tranquil. Nourishment is needed. Because without strength, even physical strength, adequate physical strength is needed. Not like that you need to be a wrestler or lifting up 300 pounds. No. Adequate strength that you can walk well, you can sit well, you can sit quiet for a long time, because if you have not sat for a long time, You cannot concentrate. You cannot handle your mind. You cannot watch your mind. You cannot control it and focus it on a right object. So that way you have to judge all day long that it should be shatta, pure. Everything should be sanctified. It is said in the Mahabharata very nicely, Acharana Dharma. Acharana Dharma. Bhishma says, Acharana Dharma. What is Dharma? What is virtue? What is Dharma? Dharma is through behavior, lifestyle. Lifestyle is Dharma. It's not just Christian, Muslim, and certain maxims, certain dogmas, and you fight for the maxim, fight for the dogmas, and your belief, faith, fighting for the faith. Fighting is not that. Fighting within yourself. Fight within yourself. The enemy is within you, not outside. Disturbances from within you. Problems are from within you, and fight them out. That is your impurity. That is a wrong way of life. That is a wrong perception about things. Truth is universal. Spirituality is universal. And every human being has common problems. And every human being has common solution. And this solution is through lifestyle and food. Thank you.
So, what kind of recommendations you have for fasting and food course? That was his first question.
Oh well, over the world, in every religion, people observe fasting. And if there would not be any benefit from that, if there would not be some advantage from religious point of view, from spiritual point of view, people would not be doing that. So this is a prevalent trend over the world. And fasting, as far as I understand, are generally practiced from two purposes, from 2 points of view, I think, for two purposes. One is religious, other is health. So those who believe in religion, indirectly we can say spirituality. Religion is also a form of spirituality if it is followed well, if it is followed nicely, without derogating others, without speaking ill of others, other religions. If somebody follows the rules and regulations, the maxims of his own religion, that ultimately becomes spirituality. So, for spiritual development, fasting has a role. I cannot say it has the prime role, but it has a role. In what way? It gives a kind of purity, a feeling of purity, purity of the mind. The foremost thing is the purity of the mind and ease. So, regulated fasting once or twice a month helps people. Too long fasting might not be good. It will make you weak and incapable of thinking. Too long fasting might even work upon your system, physical system, metabolic system. So, regulated fasting is good for purification of the mind, because food sometimes contaminates our thoughts. Food has great deal to do with our thinking process. As the Vedas says that ahar shuddhi sattva shuddhi. If the food is purified, your intelligence is purified. Sattva shuddhi dhruva smriti. If intelligence is purified, your meditation is steady. And when meditation is steady, all your uneasiness, suffering goes. Meditation has such a power that it removes physical, vital, mental, intellectual, what sort of disbalance is there? Any disbalance, any untuning is tuned. So meditation is such a sort of faculty in human being. So food should be purified, the Vedas also say. And food purification, that means fasting is also similar kind of thing, that you don't take food one day and mind purifies. Mind, gets, attachment goes off, because people get very quickly attached to food. Very quickly, because people are born from food and sex. This is one thing, food and sex. If there is no food, no impulse, sex impulse. And no sex impulse, no being is born. So, food and sex has some sort of fascination. People are much fascinated to food and sex, which not only people but all animals, the whole animal world, birds world, they all love food. All day long they are working for food. So from millennia, beings have been working on food. So human beings have this inclination towards food. And attachment to food, attachment to sex makes people material, connected with the world, But spirituality and religion, they want that the soul should not be clinging to the world, but it should come up. That's why sometimes abstinence, sometimes abandoning food helps people to get rid of this kind of attachment. And if somebody, you can see that somebody doesn't eat for a day or 2 or 3, then he will not have any anger or sex impulse or things like that, passion. So food has great deal to do with human passion and human proclivities, different proclivities, and what kind of food you take, and then taking, not taking.
Karma.
You must be careful what kind of food you take, and
English
sometimes
word action
not
does
taking
not
also
connote
has a role. That is fasting.
such a wider view
So
as the Sanskrit
people
word karma.
who do it,
Karma has
they don't believe in
very
religion
many
much,
meanings.
maybe, but
It has
if
come
they
from
do
kri.
it for health purpose,
Kri
they also do it
is
for
the root,
betterment,
karma.
because metabolic system
Karma
gets rest,
means what you do
and the
is
stomach
also
gets
karma.
rest for a day,
The effect is also
or
karma,
for 2 days,
and the
whatever.
past effects,
And
the
that
accumulated
way
effects, the momentum,
extra hormones
which
in
is
the body, which are
which
accumulated,
is
can also be
propelling you
consumed by that way.
in the life, that is
So,
also karma. So, taking it from
fasting
that point of view,
is helpful.
whole
If you
world
can do that. Gita also
as far
says
as I can
about
say,
fasting.
is
that
moving
some
with
people,
action. Is moving with action.
Apareniyatahara pranan pranishu juhati.
It's made for action.
Some people,
As a matter of fact, if you say what world is,
having their
if
food
you ask me a
regulated,
question, what is world?
and
I should say it is a
fasting,
mass of action.
they make their
It is just a
prana,
mass of action.
the vital
Nothing is
power
static here.
purified.
Everything is moving.
Vital power purified.
Right from the sand to the sun.
The restlessness of the mind.
Right from the
vital
speck
power,
of sand to the
vital
sun.
energy
Right from bacteria
is
to elephant.
regulated. So
Right from
Gita
trees
supports it.
to
Patanjali
human being.
speaks of
Everything is
Kriya
in
Yoga.
motion.
In
Everything
his
is
Kriya
constantly in
Yoga, he
motion.
says Tapa
The
Shwadhyaya
galaxies,
Ishwar Pranidhana. 3 things have to be
the
present.
nebulas,
Tapa means controlling
stars,
food, particularly
sun, moon.
controlling food,
Everything
not
we
taking
find
food.
is constantly moving. Nothing
I mean,
static.
limited food.
Apparently a
And
stone
then
may be static, but it is underneath.
controlling senses.
It has the transformation. It is getting in
And then
transformation.
studying
So the whole world is moving in
or
a
chanting
transformation.
mantras,
Transformation
and
for a
self-surrender to God,
particular purpose.
remembering God.
The purpose is
Remembering
not very
through mantras.
apparent before
This
our
is the
eyes.
kriya.
But the
And
wise people
what is
say that the
effect of
whole
kriya?
purpose,
Klesha
realization of the
tonukaranatha samadhi
Supreme, is the
bhavanatha.
very purpose behind the
Klesha,
creation.
uneasiness.
The whole
The
creation is for
uneasiness
one
that
purpose.
goes on within
It is a
people,
constantly moving
mental,
force,
physical.
moving element,
This
and is
uneasiness,
moving towards
they remove
perfection.
the uneasiness of
Moving
the
towards
person,
perfection.
and
Every living
concentration
being is
the
trying for perfection.
So
Every tree
these
is
two
trying for
things
perfection.
happen,
It is
concentration
struggling
and samadhi.
against wind. It is
So that
struggling
way,
against the weird
Patanjali
and
also
tear of
speaks
nature
it, and
to get perfection. So this is
Upanishad also
action.
speaks.
Without action, nobody can exist here.
Sometimes
The insects are constantly working.
you must
The birds are constantly moving.
give up food.
Animals constantly
And
working.
Upanishad goes
And
to
the
the
system
extent
is
that
made
you
in
can
such a
even,
way that you
take
get
small amount
hunger,
of food and
hunger,
make your
thirst,
body emaciated for the
your
time
pain,
being.
so many
As Buddha
physical
did,
ailments,
and many
mental
other masters did,
suffering,
Christ
and
did, all people
appetite,
practice
hunger.
fasting.
Everybody has hunger, and the hunger has to be
All
satisfied. So
spiritual masters
everybody has to be
practice
active.
fasting in some way or other.
So
some
it is not
people
the
did
time
much, some people left,
which actually
but almost all people practice fasting. When I
hinders
was up in the mountain,
action.
I used to
Action
practice
is natural thing.
without water
Ever since the
36
creation
hours
has come in
fasting,
existence,
and
action.
some people do it with lemon juice,
Karma
or
bhumi.
some people do it
This
with
is
fruits and milk,
Karma bhumi
or
and tapo
just
bhumi.
water.
Through karma, you do
I
tapo.
used to stay
Through
3
action,
days,
you develop your concentration.
with just water,
Look at a
a
cat.
little salt, or
There may be 200 people,
milk.
but if there is a little
These things,
sound
I
of a
mean, they
rat
must
or
have
little
helped.
smell,
I think
she is
it
so
also
much
helps
focused
emotion.
that she
If
doesn't
you do
know
it,
who
the
are there
Bible
around
also
here.
mentioned,
You
and
know,
Gita says,
and she jumps and
mentions
catches
that
it.
those
Look at
who-
the tiger. So
those who,
concentration. Everything is there
fast,
doing with concentration, action.
for the sake of God, they are blessed.
So
I think
this way,
almost all scriptures
without
of the
action
world
nobody can
support
live.
fasting, but it is
that is
not
why
the,
Gita gives
not a
so
prime
much of importance to action, because
the prime
you are
importance
here
is the
because of your
concentration
past
your
karma.
mind, your meditation.
Had you been having no
and
karma,
your
past
inner
karma, you would
feeling,
not be here
inner
on
happiness,
earth.
inner joy,
For instance,
and inner life.
somebody goes
That
to a
is
market.
most important. And fasting,
Why does he go to market? Either
As I
he wants
have
to sell
experienced,
something,
the
or you want
fasting
to
and
buy
pranayama
something, or you want to
done
work
together
something.
brings
you
about
know,
light.
there he may have
You
to
know,
work
the
somewhere
fasting,
there, or he may have to
once
see
I
the
was
things
seated,
that are available
on the
there.
porch of my,
If he doesn't have all this
cottage,
interest, he
up in
doesn't
the
want to
mountain, in
work,
the jungle.
he doesn't want to
And
buy
I was
something, he wants to
fasting,
sell
and when I
something,
got up
why should he
suddenly,
go to
I
market?
found the whole world is
He
made
doesn't
of
go.
light.
So every
Light
person that
gleaming,
are there in the
gleaming light
world,
everywhere.
or
So
for that
I
matter
think
every being,
if you fast,
particularly
and
about human beings, I can
practice little
say
pranayama,
that they have the past
you will
karma, the
have
desires.
the experience of
Yeah,
light,
they have the desires,
different
lingering,
kind of light gleaming in
connecting
you. the
So,
world, connect in the
first
mundane
thing
world.
you may venture.
Maybe he doesn't,
You know,
he,
that-
didn't,
that will not
he was
be
not
bad.
satisfied with a fine wife or fine husband, or he didn't have enough money. He had a hankering for money, and he died with this hankering. He didn't have a good car. He didn't have a these, that. So many kinds of materials that people hanker for. So he didn't have, and he dies and comes back again. Dies and comes. And nature provides these things. We don't blame the time. We do not blame the era. People are material, we say, but I don't say anybody is material. They have the desire, so nature is providing them.
Meditation has different
These
levels.
desires were lingering in their heart for
This
long, and they are getting
First
those
level
things.
is called jatamana.
Nature doesn't
struggling
provide
state.
anything that you don't
And
deserve or that you didn't
After
long
some
for
time, so
before.
the struggle is done. A struggle
So that
between
way you are getting
distracting-
things that are
distracting
necessary.
forces
Now
you know,
action,
and an effort of
about action,
concentration.
Krishna says
The mental
very nicely in the
struggle goes
Gita
on.
that
So
every individual
when
must
for
know
some
three
time
things.
this practice is done,
Because
then
an individual
Batirek
is
means
not
shining.
just for action.
The
He is also for
aspirant feels
realization.
that he is shining now. His distraction is less.
Realization
and his
is
concentration
above
growing.
action.
And then comes
Action
full
has
concentration,
contamination.
and then
Action
comes
can be good or evil, but
nirodha,
realization is
complete
beyond
control.
good and evil. Knowledge is beyond good and evil.
Kagra and Nirod. So these
Experience
four
is beyond
stages.
good and evil.
Jataman, Batirek,
Because it
Ekagra,
is
Nirod. So
ever
this
what it is.
grows successively. So
The,
meditation,
the experience of the
more
existence, eternal
experience
existence.
one can gather through
So
meditation.
he says three things everybody must know.
Successively.
For human beings particularly.
I think
Animals
these
cannot
distractions
understand this.
from outside will be less.
Because the karma principle
After
is more
meditation,
applicable
if
to
you
human
go
beings.
out and the world
Because human beings has rationality,
has a lot of
he has
distractions,
discrimination,
and if
he
you are
can realize the
affected
supreme,
by that,
which
in
other
that
animals
case,
cannot
you
do.
should understand that your meditation
He has a
has not gone
spirituality
deeper.
other animals don't
When
have.
the meditation has gone deep
They,
and
they are
deep,
controlled by
and you start feeling
instincts.
that your consciousness
They are
is
controlled
spread
by
everywhere,
propensities.
then you will
But
feel
human
that,
being can
well,
go above all propensities.
everything is being regulated by
So
one divine
three things
consciousness.
says karma,
And whatever a person is speaking, he is speaking because it is needed for him, and divine is urging through him to talk like that. So if you divinize everything,
the effect
if you
of
make
action
everything divine,
is deep.
you know,
One must
you
know what is
develop that
karma.
outlook
One must know what
through
is
your
vikarma,
meditation,
and
then
also you must
distraction
know
will
what
be
is
less.
akarma.
But if you start
Because
discriminating, oh,
the
this
effect
man
of action
is speaking of materialism,
in human life
he's speaking of
is extremely
sensuality,
deep,
he's speaking of
supremely
money,
deep.
he's speaking of these worldly things.
So what is
and
karma?
I do not like that.
Any
It
expression,
happens in the beginning.
any talk,
In the
any
beginning, it
thinking,
happens for the
any
beginners.
action that you do with your
But
senses,
in the
with your
course
hands
of
and feet,
advancement,
whatever.
when your heart
If it is
full of
helpful to
love,
spirituality, and if you are not
meditation
attached
is
to
love.
it,
When your
if you
heart
don't
is full of
expect
love and
anything from out of
devotion
it,
to the
then that
divine, and you
becomes karma.
understand that in the whole universe there
And
is
what is
nothing
bikarma?
save the divine.
The action,
Only one thing is
the
existing.
speech,
One consciousness
the thinking,
is existing.
the
Everything is happening in
deliberation
this world under
that
the command
is
or under the
contaminated with
wish of
desire.
one divine power. In that
Contaminated with
case,
physical desire,
you
your
will not
personal
be
interest,
disturbed. Your
personal
own
end,
disturbed.
selfish
That is
ends. If you are
for sure.
working that way, it becomes bikarma. It is a contaminated work. It will not help you develop spiritually. And third one
Now
is
about silence.
akarma. What
You
is
also
akarma?
asked about silence.
Like
that is very, very
if somebody is
important.
sick, he takes
About
medicine,
silence. You also asked a
treatment,
question about
and then he becomes fit.
About observance
So
of silence.
if you have done karma
that
well,
is very important.
every
you know.
day is karma
That's very
with
important.
purity, free from
Uh,
selfish end, out of love, out of inspiration. Karma cannot be, some people say that karma cannot be done without any selfish interest. No, 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 no. You get all your necessary things through your action. But then again, you can keep your heart free from attachment. You can keep your heart free from blemishes, contamination. So, if you have done that for quite a long time, then you will start having this akarma state, which is contemplation, which is meditative state,
What you were talking about.
where only joy,
Yes.
infinite space, like a
Silence is connected
falcon
with speech.
gliding in the space. So your mind is gliding in the space of
And
divine,
speech, if not
space of the
regulated
divinity,
well,
space of the eternal
silence is
consciousness.
not possible.
And that contemplative state, samadhi
Silence is
state,
the most
is called
important
akarma. It is beyond karma. At that time,
Because
you don't do karma, but you
cosmic
get
consciousness
absorbed, self-absorbed state. So this
is working in
self-absorbed
this
state
universe
gives
silently.
you moksha. Moksha means freedom.
Apparently he is
freedom
silent.
from suffering, old
Although we
age,
say
disease, and all sorts of worldly
Anahata,
blemishes.
the chime,
You get
the inner
freedom
voice,
there,
all
that
this.
you understand
But
that you are beyond
our
world.
senses don't-
You are not
cannot
connected with the
hear
world. You are beyond
the
laws,
divine, neither can
worldly
see.
laws. And your
So,
law is spiritual law. You are
silence
within the realm of
for
spirituality.
a spiritual
So to
aspirant
go into the
is
realm of
very important.
spirituality through your
But before
contemplation,
silence,
you need to have
one should
pure
practice.
actions. Now this
speaking in
principle
a right manner. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad,
is not actually
Yajnavalkya, the
dominated
great says,
by any
he
time
says
factor.
that
It doesn't matter
you
whether it is
have
Iron
regulated
Age or
your
Golden
speech,
Age or Brass Age,
if you had
or it is Kali
speaking
Yuga or
discipline,
Satya Yuga,
discipline of
Treta.
speech,
No. These yugas,
you can
they move
overcome
in
fear
their
of
own
death,
way. But the law of action,
restlessness of
which has
mind.
started from the very beginning of the
so
creation,
what kind of speech?
is still prevailing
You
in the
must speak
same
the
way,
truth.
rigorously.
Whatever you speak, speak the truth.
Unfailingly.
Anything that you don't want to say, don't
That's
say.
why,
Speak the
if you
truth.
say that
And
the Gita said,
speak for the good
in
of
those
others.
days also there were
Speak
highly
for
material people.
the benefaction of
Duryodhana was a
mankind.
material person.
And right words,
Kauravas were very
right
material,
delivery,
sometimes very naughty. There were
deliberation,
very
so
seriously
that
naughty people there, and
the
everything. It
listeners
is, the
may
world is
understand
always
you.
a mixture.
Your intention
The world
should
is
not
always
be
mixture.
egoistic.
The world is a
pedantic.
compound element.
Your
So
intention
in
should
every time
to communicate
there
yourself,
were people
your
who were very
experience with
material,
others,
and every time
and
there were
that
people
should
who were
be
very spiritual.
exact,
So
proper,
it is not the time
and
factor.
for
It
the,
is the
for the
spirit
betterment.
with what you are working. If you want material
Some
benefit,
people, they
work,
speak egoistically.
get benefit.
They
But
have
that
read
will
a
not
lot,
be lasting.
and they have learnt a lot, and
That
they
will not be
want to
lasting.
exhibit their
You have to
knowledge
give them up.
and things like that.
Either
Not
they
that
will
way.
give you up, or you have to give them up in the
change
course
your
of time.
attitude.
But if
behind
you
your
work for
speaking.
spirituality,
your attitude should be always
definitely
kind,
you will get spirituality.
generous, and
You
helpful.
get meditation, you get inner joy, inner happiness, inner light,
Not
and that
superficial,
will
not
be
talking
with you
superficially,
even after your death.
uselessly,
They say,
pointlessly.
in this lifetime,
Or
you
sometimes
lead a wide,
people exaggerate things,
life,
They-
happy life,
to
and
explain
after
a small
also you
thing,
are
they
happy.
go on
You are the
talking
biggest
frothy
problem is
things
the
also.
confusion.
So not
confusion
that.
of the mind.
So you have to control your speech.
People
first
are
of
always
all.
confused. They are seeking material things and they're getting it. The more they get, the more confused they are. The sleep is disturbed. The
You should
thoughts are
practice
not
to speak
not
from the
steady.
very bottom of the heart.
But
Everything
if
that
you
you
work for
speak,
spirituality,
you speak. That is the practice.
so
Not always
it
is
needs
not the
training.
same.
These days,
It's not a
our
capricious
problem
thing.
is our education
capricious
is
only for
devoid
the
of
people who have
spirituality.
not practiced it.
No training
Take it to
is
point
given
that
from the
every
very
word that
beginning
I
of
will
life,
speak, I will speak
because the bigger
within
the
the discipline,
achievement, the
within the
longer the
structure.
training needed, longer
So,
the practice
practice.
needed. You have to pay the bigger
Because
amount of
Gita also
things,
says,
you have to pay
Patanjali
more.
says,
So spiritual
everybody
achievement
says
is
that
very high. That's why from the
practice
very beginning
and
of
not
your life,
attachment.
you have to
If you
make
have too
your
much attached
motivation.
in speaking,
More
like
than the
all the
action,
time speaking. Some people
motivation
are too
behind
much
the
attached
work
to talk,
is
you know,
important.
like children.
Same
They go
one.
on talking because they have learned
Eating
how
food.
to talk, so they
Somebody
go
is
on
eating
talking.
with one
So that thing first,
idea
silence.
that he must
And
eat this food
silence
and
of
go
speech
and rob
is not
and
that
he must,
important
loot something.
as silence of a
He
mind.
must
Mind has
steal
to be
something,
silenced.
or somebody may
Because
be
when you
eating and
try
says that I will be going and
not
meditating.
talking,
So the very
You
intention
can
is
try
different.
and you'll see that your mind
So
is
the effect will be
constantly
different.
talking.
Action may be the
Constantly
same,
moving,
apparently,
you know,
but if your intention
hundreds
is
of
different,
words are
it is
passing
different.
through
So,
your minds.
in short,
So,
what you need to
the
do
instruction
at
is
the moment
that kick it up a notch
is
in
to
pride.
make
After
your
having your mind
inner
concentrated,
spirit,
not
the
anything,
spirit behind every
whatever,
action,
good, bad,
every
you
word,
don't think of.
every thinking,
So if you have learned how to silence
do the
your
same
mind,
thing. No matter.
then you have
do computer,
learned
computer.
real
You have to
silence.
earn money, everything.
is-
but you
that is
think
the
that nothing is
most
yours
important
because
point.
it is virtually
And,
nothing is yours. Everything
this
that you gain in the
discipline of
world,
speech also
any accomplishment
is
is
spoken
belonging
in
to the world.
Zarathustra. He
So the
also
thing that
spoke
belongs
that
to world, give to the world.
Bhaktarnike,
The thing that
Kedarnike,
belongs to
Pendarnike,
heaven,
action should be
belongs to
controlled.
divine, give to
Mind
him.
should be
Your
controlled.
thoughts should be given
and
to the
words should
divine.
be controlled. So silence is
your
good.
achievement should
Silence
be given to
is
the
good.
world.
But I have seen people
Hands
who
to
practice
work and heart
silence,
to God.
but
Very old theory. Hands to work
they
and heart
don't
to
have
God.
control on
And
behavior.
American
They don't have
thinker,
control on behavior.
Mr. Emerson,
because they don't silence
speaks
their
very
mind.
nicely about
without
the Gita.
meditation, without the realization of
that this is a
ecstatic joy
book. I have
from
taken
Kundalini, mind will not be
a
silent. It will be constantly
wonderful
moving.
day
And not speaking is not
deeping in
a
the
very big
Bhagavad
discipline.
Gita.
If you
He
give,
says something like that, and he
if you
says
instruct some child
that
to
at a
speak
different
or to
time,
give him a reward, he will
at a
be
different
sitting for
time,
1 hour
at a different
without speaking.
situation, at a different environment.
That is not very important.
Millennia
A lot
ago,
of people try to meditate, but their mind is not
the words have been
concentrated.
given through
Their
Gita,
mind is not silent.
which is
so first of all,
perfectly
silence is called abhava yoga. Abhava means making the mind empty of thoughts completely,
solving our
but there
problems
should
of
be
the
an
modern
awareness.
time.
It is not like
perfect
sleep.
solution for our
You don't
modern
go to
time.
sleep
because they are the
and you
eternal
neither
words.
think anything nor go to
They are the
sleep.
eternal words.
But your mind is
And these words
tranquil
you
and
must
you are
follow.
aware that I
Do
am
not care
existing,
whether people are
but I am
material,
not thinking.
what
I
is
am
material,
beyond mind
whether you are material
and
or
beyond
spiritual,
intelligence.
you take care of that.
That is the
Do not
that is
criticize the
real
world.
silence.
Because you are not a supervisor
Hi,
here.
but successively
You are not
it will come
employed
to you Because
supervisor,
if you have control your words, purified your
to
words,
criticize people,
your mind
you
is
are here
purified.
to
When the mind
watch
is
yourself
purified,
and work.
Intelligence
I always believe in
purified,
3W.
Intelligence is
I always
purified,
believe in
then your
3W.
consciousness responses
They speak about
in the form of silence.
wine, omen, and wealth. But I speak about work, watch, and wait. Work, watch, and wait. Go on working and watch how you are working. What is the spirit behind your work? And wait,
propelling you.
because without waiting, you
Constantly
cannot have the
propelling
fruit.
you because you are not watchful.
You cannot have the fruit because
be
you have to
watchful.
wait.
You have
So
to
that
be all
way
the time aware
you
what
build
your
your
mind,
nature,
how your
build
mind
your
is
character.
acting and reacting.
That is education. If you have
And
made a
then
steady
suspend
character
the mind.
in which
The
you
more
are
you
very
can suspend the
selfless
mind,
and
you
you
better
work
treat the mind.
with love and
The
detachment
better thoughts come to your
and
mind.
with inspiration,
Otherwise there is a haze of thoughts.
no time is going to
Hazy thoughts.
influence you.
All
No
the
time
time.
is going to
Mess
work
of
upon
thoughts.
you. Be it
All the time.
a Kali
And you
Yuga
cannot discriminate
or
what is
material
right, what is
Yuga or
wrong,
whatever
or
name,
what is to
because
be
name
thought
is
and
a
what is not
material
to be
thing.
thought.
Name is a mental thing.
And,
You name it, but nature
so,
is working.
that way
in
you
a
cannot
process.
discriminate, you
and
can filter the
laws
mind.
are laws.
So filtering of the mind
Laws
is the
are
foremost
laws.
duty.
Laws.
And then
Medial
automatically
significance of the
silence will
laws
come. Even
of
from the
action
beginning,
that work.
Shankara says
Even
it
now
very
the same
nicely
working,
that,
whether you carry it or not. It is what
Yogasya
it is.
prathamadwaram bang
It
nirodho
is what
aparigraha
it is.
nittam chekantashilata. The first door to the world of yoga, to the realm of yoga, the first door is bang nirodha, controlling your speech. Do not talk useless things. Control your speech. And then aparigraha, don't indulge in sensual pleasure. And nittam chekantashilata, remain at a quiet place, solitary place, and meditate. Then you will be quick in achieving the first experiences of yoga.
That's great, but most of the people cannot go to solitude. So
Or in their house there may be a quiet room, or their neighborhood there must be places, in the adjacent places, in the vicinity. They have to find out. They don't have to go to the jungle for 12 years like Zarathustra or Christ or the rishis, but they can find out some place where noise is not much. Noise is a disturbance in the beginning. So noise is not much. Quiet place, no friends at that time, sitting and reflecting, because if there is friend, then the awareness of the friend comes and so many other things prevail. Better you live alone for some time, maybe for a day or 2 or 7 days, and then remain quiet, study, reflect, and don't indulge too much food, too much drink, things like that. And that way you will develop your power of concentration, yoga. Am I clear?
Great. That's very great. Wonderful answer to Mr. Joe, and we're thankful to him for asking so relevant questions as well. And we have the words to thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome.
We
You
have
are
the
welcome.
words to thank you the way you have answered. So that's wonderful. Namaste. Namaste, Gurudev. Mr. Saroj Bardeva, one of your students who is living in America now, has sent you some questions. One of them is that what kind of ahar vihar, in other words, food and